Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, 11th October 2018. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The blackfish industry in Barely is set for a transformation following the signing today of a $3.5 million grant between the governments of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Japan. It will see the Blackfish Center at Barely being upgraded into a modern processing facility. Ambassador Mitsuhiko Akada, who signed on behalf of Japan, said the grant is part of the assistance promised following a visit by Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves to Japan in August. He said the Blackfish Enhancement Project will help to improve food security and the economic well-being among consumers and those involved in the industry.
This grant aid is tangible evidence of Japan's commitment to cooperation with St. Vincent and the Grenadines. As the fisheries sector is of high economic and social importance to the country, this project will greatly benefit the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Ladies and gentlemen, through this grant aid, the Burglary Blackfish Center will be positively transformed into a modern and sanitary processing center for small cetaceans and their byproducts, and will thus contribute to the strengthening of the fisheries sector, as well as the economic development of the local community.
Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves said the project will greatly assist residents in Barely and surrounding communities.
About this blackfish enhancement, we have to work it out, as His Excellency the Ambassador says, with the stakeholders, technical. This is a huge project. $3.5 million in Barely. It will transform that entire area. No one had hitherto thought of doing that. And that will provide some support for families. I mean, we know that we are not supposed to be killing the orca, but that is not where the bulk of the blackfish is. We know what the traditional blackfish is, and that is something which is traditional to us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and there's an abundance of it. So I don't think that any environmentalist can reasonably claim any problem with us with that.
Prior to the initial work, the Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries will hold meetings with relevant stakeholders. Meanwhile, Japan's ambassador to CARICOM, Kenshi Manucci, said they value the relations which Japan has with SVG and other CARICOM countries and looks forward to future cooperation with SVG.
Today, we have had very good discussions. Our team has had very good discussions with the Prime Minister and the members of his team on matters of importance to both sides. In focusing on three areas: a sustainable development, people-to-people contacts, and cooperation in international fora.
Here, the Japan delegation will be visiting several communities in SVG. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves has detailed to residents in North Windward how the new satellite warehouse will be operated. Dr. Gonsalves, who delivered the feature address at the opening of the satellite warehouse at Noel Sandy Bay Tuesday, said that for too long, residents in disaster-prone areas have been negatively impacted, especially when it comes to getting emergency supplies to them.
By the time you get up here with the chainsaws and the blankets and the pickaxes and the tarpaulin and the cots and the beds and the mattresses and stuff for the babies and generators, you know, people would have suffered. You don't know whether the bridge somewhere about is going to be destroyed.
The Prime Minister told those attending the opening that the response agencies are working closely with supermarkets to supply foodstuff to the shelters whenever the need arises.
You're not going to find in these warehouses now food, because if you put the food it will spoil. But because we track disasters, as soon as we know a disaster is coming upon us, we will distribute the food through all these warehouses.
The Prime Minister also used the opportunity to encourage residents in disaster-prone areas to keep abreast with weather information, as they can also do their own monitoring. And he challenged them to assist the government by looking out for their own safety.
You must not wait on Michelle, Forbes, or Gomri or Ralph to tell you how you must start make your preparations. And you have to know where the shelters are, the emergency shelters. So if you know your house is not in a condition to stand the wind or the rain, you find yourself in the shelters.
Minister of Education St. Clair Jimmy Prince is making a clarion call for Vincentians to pay closer attention to the soft skills when pursuing their career goals. Minister Prince made this call at a graduation ceremony today, where 144 young persons received their Caribbean Vocational Qualification CVQ certification. The students received certification in 12 categories, including food preparation, electrical installation, air conditioning, and refrigeration. The minister said while many graduates possess these needed skills and knowledge, some are not successful due very often to their attitudes.
But you learn the soft skills which surround these skills. Attitude, punctuality, attendance, etc. Because there are many people who get jobs, but they are older. Not because they are incompetent, but because their attitude is bad. And there's so many people who tell you, yeah, I used to work. Where? So and so. Why you left? Can't take the man. Or the woman should not like me. But we know that's a lie. Most of the time, it is that when you have the competence, you refuse to carry with you the requisite attitude necessary to sustain the job and yourself. So I wish to congratulate you and to commend the SSDA for turning out another cohort of students, of graduates, and I hope that as you go into the world of work, you will find fulfillment and you'll be happy that you were trained at this particular level.
Prince encouraged the graduates to take pride in their work, which he said is of critical importance to the development of the nation.
Tibet has going to keep the Aga International Airport running. It is Tibet that built the Ramadan Bridge. It is Tibet that you use in your house every day. And as Dr. Baptiste from Sydney last time we were here said, Tibet is all around us. It is what makes us tick. It is what propels us into the modern civilization. These skills are absolutely important for you and for the country. Tibet will play a significant role in our economic development, as I said, and this cannot be overstated. And the more we understand it, the more we consider it, it is the better it's going to be for all of us.
The Education Minister encouraged the graduates to seek all opportunities to improve their competencies and make themselves more marketable. He said the government is examining ways to provide scholarships for individuals who wish to upgrade their TVET skills.
Those of you who are in the academic stream, nothing wrong with that. If you want to branch off, the availability of that path before you. Through the TIs, through the Division of Technical and Vocational Education, etc. And we are now embarking on giving scholarships for people who want to even go further into university, colleges overseas, to further their competence and their certification in this level. So the training which you received over the last year could make a significant difference in your lives. But it ought not to be the end of training, but the beginning of a journey towards self-fulfillment. Seek other avenues for training and development, and put your newfound skills to good use. And I hope that you didn't only just learn a skill.
Local educators have been encouraged to use innovative ways to nurture a love of reading among their students. This encouragement has come from the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Deborah Charles, as she spoke at a handing over ceremony today. More than 18,000 books were donated by the overseas-based Hands Across the Sea organization and the Mustique Charitable Trust to be distributed to 30 primary and secondary schools. Charles said reading is one of the most important skills in the child's development and called on teachers to make reading fun.
Getting a child to sit and read is a challenge. Why? Because they now have at their fingertips. They are the fingertip generation. And if we don't put a book on the tablet, on the smartphone, they're not going to read it. It means, therefore, that teaching is a little more challenging. And I'm not going to say difficult, I'm not going to say impossible. I'm going to say it's a little more challenging for us as teachers to sit in the classrooms and find ways to get our students to read. But it's your mandate. It's our mandate as educators to encourage our children to read. And this morning's initiative by Hands Across the Sea in conjunction with Scotiabank and Mustique Charitable Trust is one of those initiatives that we in the ministry applaud, because we realize that education is a partnership, and only by partnering with other stakeholders in education can we move forward. We want to say thank you.
Representative of the Mustique Charitable Trust, Lavinia Gunn, said she was pleased to join hands with Hands Across the Seas to assist in the development of children. Also expressed confidence that the books will spark a love for reading among children.
Can you imagine what that looks like? It's just huge, isn't it? And it's going to benefit over 30 schools, one of which is in the Grenadines. But so thank you to Scotiabank as well. But as you can imagine, giving the books is not enough. So Hands have now started to develop resources for teachers, because it's one thing to give the books, but as we know, in this modern age, reading is not a thing kids want to do. They're much happier to be on their devices. So somehow we have to encourage the teachers with the right resource material to make reading a worthwhile activity. And I'm very sure that these resources and the remedial kits that are going to be used in the secondary schools are going to be very important.
Meanwhile, Deputy Chief Education Officer Elizabeth Walker gave the assurance that the books will be used for the benefit of the children. She said the donation will assist in efforts to integrate library activities into the language arts curriculum.
Material, teacher resources, resource guides, library manuals, and I heard about the 8 remedial reading kits. These would be used very efficiently and effectively with the support of my colleagues to enhance the language curriculum and its delivery. And it was just yesterday, was it? We were on Zoom. Yes. And we interacted with the persons from the organization, and we were excited with the possibilities that exist. Long ago it was just go to the library and read a book. It's no longer that. We want to integrate the whole library activity into the language arts curriculum so students can benefit. It would be more meaningful.
The Medical Association of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will hold their annual Pink Cap City Walk tomorrow as they seek to heighten awareness of breast cancer. President of the association, Dr. Rosalind Ambrose, told SVG-TV News that after the walk, there will be an education and cultural rally at Heritage Square.
The significance of the walk is to highlight breast cancer awareness and to encourage women to examine their breasts and to practice good breast health. When we get back to Heritage Square, there's a brief rally where we have a few very short speeches and a little cultural package, and we hope to generate.
Dr. Ambrose is encouraging men to be part of the walk as they also need to be aware of various cancers which can affect them.
Walk with us. Remember, our effort in these past 3 years is to raise awareness about breast, because that has always been our program, but we've included prostate awareness. Last weekend, we had the tug-of-war competition, which was won proudly by the Medical Association team, and the police were second, and the St. Vincent cadets were third place. And we handed trophies to all these winners, and we still hope that we will get more responsiveness from males about prostate cancer awareness.
The walk will begin at 3:30 p.m. from Heritage Square. As life expectancy is increasing across the world, another Vincentian on Wednesday celebrated her 100th birthday. Salome Robertson, who lived at Chumaka all her life, marked the milestone in the company of her children, relatives, and residents of the community, who presented her with a bouquet and a cake. The mother of 6 was described by a friend as a hard-working, loving, caring, and generous individual who made ample use of local foods and drinks. Her favorite dishes include boil-up, fish, and breadfruit. Annelle Ferdinand, her cousin, thanked God for allowing Robertson to see her 100th birthday.
I want to thank God, first of all, for allowing Cousin Kutang to see 100 years. I think it's, if my memory serves me right, it's the first time I'm celebrating somebody's 100th birthday. And I must thank Sister Rob, her daughter, for the invitation. Cousin Kutang must have done an excellent job, because her daughter, who invited me here, Sister Fierian Robertson, she and her husband have been very supportive of my mother, who turned 99 last year but did not live to see 100 this year, and you would understand how happy I am to be here this evening. And I want to thank God for all that He has done, all those that He has kept around her, and for all of us to see today, a day like today, when she's celebrating 100 years of life. To God be the glory. Great things He has.
Born on 10th October 1918, Salome Robertson, who now has limited mobility, spent her better days doing mixed farming, including rearing of livestock, and supplemented that income by selling a variety of sugar cakes. The Chumaka Hand-to-Mouth group is assisting in caring for Robertson, whose husband died in 2015. 3 persons, including a police officer, have been arrested and charged for murder. A report from the Police Public Relations Department states that 32-year-old suspended police officer Etienne Charles, along with Glenville Harry, a 34-year-old bartender of Vermont, and 27-year-old tattoo artist Ulrich Hansen of Arnesville, were charged with causing the death of 50-year-old Rodney George, a security guard of Victoria Village. The 3 men were additionally charged with the offense of burglary for allegedly entering GEC Auto Supplies Limited as trespassers and stealing just over 2,000 EC dollars in cash. The incident is said to have occurred between 11:30 p.m. on Sunday, September 31st and 11:27 a.m. on Monday, October 1st at Arnesville.